black supremacy. And with this particular video, I want to talk about how Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj, their dispute or their warfare is actually a glitch in the matrix. It's showing how actually the matrix is beginning to collapse on itself, because it has just become extremely artificial to such a degree where now it's beginning to collapse. You got Nicki Minaj and you got Cardi B. Both of these individuals are printed. They're unreal. The same entity, artificial reality that gave you one, gave you the other. Look at them. As you can see in the picture that's presented to you, they're damn near coming from the same frequency, the same artificial reality. So what are they fighting about? How can you fight that which is completely representative or reflective of what you are? These are two artificial entities fighting each other for the, I guess, the highest grafted position. None of them are real. None of them are what they were anymore. They've both been turned into something that is supposed to represent the same thing to the masses of people that the entertainment industry has unleashed, that's been exploited by the cosmetic industry, that's putting masses of people under mind control. Because now the black woman, the Hispanic woman, wants to look like Cardi B, wants to look like Nicki Minaj. So how do these images that is supposed to be the artificial exaltation of beauty fight against each other? How does the artificial reality hate itself now? Because if they're just really reflections of one another, originating from the same source and presented to you for the same reason, to hypnotize you and put you under the spell of capitalism and consumerism, of their cosmetic and commercial reality, how do they fight each other? So now the matrix, the artificial self, is now beginning to hate itself. And as it is becoming more of the artificial reality, it's beginning to hate itself more. So you rarely have a situation like this happen, where the artificial reality manifests and hates itself. Usually the artificial reality is usually used to make the natural reality hate itself and want to become artificial. It makes people who are naturally beautiful, who have a natural image and natural energy that might be original, it might be different, it might be unique, but it makes them hate themselves. And then they want to go out and get perms, change their hair color, get plastic surgery, bleaching cream, wear a whole bunch of makeup. It makes them hate themselves. To be like Cardi B, to look like Nicki Minaj, these artificially grafted images that has redefined what a woman is, or how a woman should look, or how a woman should be, or has defined what is beautiful. It makes the natural person hate themselves, their natural persona, their natural personality, their natural energy, and then they want to kind of shapeshift or clone themselves or graft themselves into being like these women. But now all of a sudden, these grafted images have become so empty, so soulless, and so void of anything real, that now the program is beginning to turn on itself. And now the grafted, socially, genetically engineered, socially engineered image is now fighting itself. It now hates itself. That's when We are at the cusp of waking up now, when the artificial world begins to hate itself because it realizes it's not real. Both of these women are reflective of the same thing, of the same source. They're representations of the same cosmetic, artificial reality of the music industry, of Hollywood. This is a fact. So to hate each other is literally, for them to hate each other is literally to hate themselves, to hate their artificial self. So the program now is beginning to feed and eat on itself. It's tired of itself. The artificial reality is getting tired of its goddamn self. It don't want to look at itself no more. So when the real person within Nicki Minaj sees the artificial self, which is Cardi B, and vice versa, the real self is now hating the artificial reality. And the real self in both of them is fighting against the artificial reality that's reflected in the other. The matrix is beginning to collapse and die now. We're in something serious. Very rarely does this happen. This is an artificial meltdown eclipse. They're both fighting for the same spot, but the timing is off. Cardi B is supposed to replace Nicki Minaj. But since the timing is off, now you have a war within the artificial realm. How does the same entity, originating from the same source, the same script, written for the same person, for the same purpose, fight itself? I don't think we see what's happening here. I think we're underplaying this. We think this is just two ignorant women who is jealous. That's just, fighting and arguing and really competing for the top position. As far as the Queen of New York or the Queen of Hip Hop, that's the narrative we're going to put on it. But no, this is the same script. This is an overproduction. This is a glitch. This is a mass production of the same energy. That now the matrix is working so much in overload now that it then accidentally written a copied script at the same time that a script is already running. So now it's created this situation where the artificial reality is running its own self-hatred program, which means that it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. Only thing that can come after this battle of this artificial breakdown is reality. We have to now get back into our natural self. We have to now move back into the natural reality of who we are. After seeing this, you can't even pay attention to this no more. You can't even have an uninterrupted you can't experience uninterrupted mind control, because the program that is supposed to mind control you is fighting itself. So it makes you throw all this shit away. It makes you throw the whole thing away. This is a glitch. This is very much deeper than people think, and it will have way more significance. Because you don't know which side to go on, because they both the same side that's eating itself. Because it can't go no farther. The artificial reality has reached its limits. It can't even be creative no more. When you produce something that is the same as what was already there, and now versus it being able to ascend to something higher, for them to come up with a greater script, they've reached a limitation. So now they just reproduce the same script that's fighting the script that is already there. So they have actually reached a crescendo. They have reached, a dead end now. They can't write this shit no more. They can't program no further. I don't think you all see what's happening with the code writers. They didn't reach writer's block because now they didn't produce the same exact shit that's supposed to be the next level, but it's the same thing. So now it's an artificial, war. It's an artificial war now. The artificial is over with now when it gets to this particular point that we're at now. There is no next Nicki Minaj, next Cardi B, next. The shit is over with. They can't go any further with the artificial reality. It has reached its end. We are at an apocalyptic point now when it comes to the Matrix reality. Like the Matrix can't even go any further anymore now. It's really getting silly now. It's getting Twilight Zone-ish. These are clones of the same entity. They both represent the same artificially created character that could not be phased out. This entity that you're looking at, that's both of them, that somebody artificially created, is supposed to phase out, but there's no next phase. So now it's just mass producing duplicates. And now the duplicates are fighting each other before our eyes because they're now at the same place at the same time. See, two things can't occupy the same space at the same time. Two artificial realities that represent the same script cannot run in the same fucking program, in the same fucking operating system. So this is what you have where with Nicki Minaj. It's like it's deep. It's a deep glitch. So now they both showing up at Fashion Week, and it's like, well, hold up, this is my fashion, you got my fashion. I'm supposed to be the top, the new. You have the reverse of Jet Li of the one with the artificial reality. Well, like, which one of these is the one? They're both not supposed to be there. One is supposed to be higher than the other to be able to take over. But they can't come up with nothing more. The script has reached its fulfillment. It's reached its ceiling. So now your matrix is collapsing now. They can't come up with nothing else. Just look at them. How do you go further than this? And now, just watch this. Whereas Nicki Minaj would have phased out with the advent of this new cosmetic advancement with plastic surgery and making people look younger and turning people into Barbie dolls, the old people are not phasing out fast enough. Now, whereas Nicki Minaj would have had ended her career, that would have been it for her because she is getting older. She has been transformed into a eternal, lifeless, artificial entity that can now live longer than her time. Do you follow? She now can thrive longer than she would have before. So when her replacement shows up, it's like, well, damn, bitch, you still here. Because now she's been artificially created into something that can last longer as far as being projected in the artificial world. That now what you're calling Nicki Minaj is completely an artificial entity, but it's damn near perfect. That's a perfect script. They're turning these human beings now into perfect fucking programs, to Barbie dolls, to just perfect simulations. And then here comes Cardi B, and it's like, well, where I'm gonna be at? Where I'm gonna stand? There's nowhere. They can take the old product now and push it further than they could before. So your new entities, new beings that are trying to get in, there's no place for them now. The old people is holding the slots longer because now they've been transformed into something that is more artificial. Because it never was about the people anyway. It never was about the talent or the person. It was about how they could make this entity conform to the artificial reality that they wanted to present to the people to begin with. So you see this glitch here where it's like she's not even fighting Nicki Minaj. She's fighting an artificial reality that she really wants to become. But she cannot because the old product is still functioning and thriving. So now she has to hate the artificial reality itself, which is forcing people now to wake up. The natural entity is waking up now. Because she's really hating herself because she wants the artificial position that she can't move into. So it's forcing her real self to be frustrated, to be agitated, to be, you know what I'm saying, to be awakened to, wait a minute. The program in me, the real me is fighting the program of which I cannot become. So that ain't even jealousy. That's frustration with the inability to be transformed into something that is artificial in order to take that position, to have a full transformation, to fulfill that space in the program. That's what she's fighting. But she can't as long as Nicki Minaj is there. You follow? So they're both fighting for an artificial position. But they both are artificial. So it makes the artificial world bend on itself, fold on itself. It collapses. It's beginning to collapse and glitch out. So our awakening is unavoidable and inescapable now. This King Noble Black Supremacy. Stay on my website, www.KingNobleblacksupremacy.com. Join my website, www.KingNobleblacksupremacy.com. Donate and don't hate.